Hi everyone. Today, now we are going to talk to Vasti. Today we have Vasti here. Vasti is one of my friend I got to know from Romania from
Mm.
2011. Quite a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Now, but yeah, she's still younger than me anyway. But I don't know what I'm saying.
We're both young.
We are both young.
Super young.
So we've known each other for some time, and one thing I learned about why I'm asking her to share today is because she have gone through. I know that she have gone through a lot of challenges from when I know her, and also in between. For the past few years, there are some challenges that she have gone through, and she have become a better person, a different person, a different version of herself. She wasn't who she is to who she is today that you're seeing. Yeah, she was a much positive person. I will let her tell her story. And today, welcome Vasti. So this is
Hi.
this is
Thanks for having me.
and currently Vasti is in Korea now. So 안녕하세요. And
안녕하세요.
and yeah, tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, so hi guys. Welcome to my cave in South Korea. It's my small room in Korea. I live in let's say studio apartment kind of, or one room apartment. Pretty much you have everything in one room pretty much. But it's more than enough for me, I guess. I'm just one person, so less to clean, when the house is so small.
Doesn't matter if
So yeah, as you mentioned, we know each other for many years, like 11 years. And when we met, I think I was still living in my bubble pretty much when I was in university. I was following that classic path, let's say, the things that, your parents usually tend to tell you, like, oh, grow up, like go to school, learn well, get good grades, you finish and go to a good university, you finish uni, and then you get a good job, and then you work on that job, and I don't know, climb the corporate ladder, and I don't know, die at some point, I guess.
Well,
Hopefully
that's
you
something
enjoy,
new for me.
you enjoy the way,
Bubble. I didn't know you were in a bubble.
I was pretty much in a bubble, I think. Yeah, I would call it a bubble because I didn't really know much about the world and also about myself or what is possible, what can we do, where can we go. I, as you said, I'm from Romania. I grew up in a, let's say, a middle class family, average family. And this whole time I just learned a few things. Like as I said, go to school, study well, get a good job, get married, have a family, and die, I guess. And I didn't know what other things I can do or where I can go. So the whole time I thought, okay, I'm stuck here. I mean, I didn't even think that I'm stuck in Romania until I finished university. And that's when I feel like I stepped outside in the real world. I went to work, and after like working there for a few months, I thought I'm working in the field that I really liked, like finance and economics and stuff like this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an accountant. I'm an economist right now. I'll do, because I got inspired by my father. I saw him working this, and I was like, oh shit, this is nice. Because he used many numbers, and I like mathematics and physics and chemistry and all this subjects. So I'm like, probably this is suitable for me. But then when I went to work, the more I worked, the more empty I felt inside. And I'm like, what is this? This is actually not what I thought it is.
Well,
and I also realized that, the education doesn't really.
What job were you doing at the time?
I was an economist, like accountancy, like accountant, but also like dealing with some other things related to the economic department, financial department in the company. It was pretty much just me and my boss. in this department, just the two of us. So I was doing pretty much whatever she was asking me to do. Also, I realized that, when you go to work is a constant like struggling competition in a bigger company, and this one was a small company. But for some reason, no one wants to help you with anything or show you anything, even though you're a beginner. You just have to figure out everything on your own. And then when you make mistakes, your boss just shouts at you nonstop, which at least that happened to me. And I was going home, after work crying, and like, let's say 50% of the time, which is very fast. And I worked also like 13 hours a day even. I was going home just to sleep. Sometimes I didn't even take off my makeup or change my clothes because I was so exhausted after working, from morning until like night. Um, and I don't know. I just felt like that's not a job for me. And like, I wonder even now, how can people do a job like that, sitting in an office and just doing the same things over and over again. I mean, for someone who's passionate about it, probably it's nice, but I figure out that's not my thing. So I was starting to get worried that my brain is getting flat,
Getting flat.
my creativity disappears. I'm like, will I even be able to think about some creative things after I work here for a bit longer? Like, so I decided to continue my studies because I took this job at the end of my bachelor studies. And then I was like, if I continue doing this job without doing something else, I'll definitely, I don't know, my soul will die for sure. Because I think it's natural when it comes to humans. We have this need of growth, don't we? We need to develop, to, I don't know, set some goals and reach those goals. Like I felt like my life was extremely flat at that point. So I continued my studies, and then I started to be excited again because I love school. So I was learning new things. I think school is great because you can learn a lot of things. But at the same time, I think school, the way it's done today, I'm not very okay with it because we don't learn very useful things for life. But okay, this is a different subject.
Okay.
So going to school made me feel alive again. But then because I had to work way too long, many times I had to miss school. So I'm like, oh my God, I give up on work. I don't want to do this anymore. So when I wanted to actually resign, my boss took me aside and she's like, "Oh, we're happy with your work. We want to increase your salary and all that." And I was thinking, like, what are you talking about? I'm here working as a slave. I was not even paid for my extra hours. It's nice that they wanted to increase the salary, but I'm not doing what I want to do. So I told her I want to actually resign or maybe work for less hours, but after those 6 hours, like I'm not staying even one more minute because I want to go to school. And luckily, because they were happy with my work, I was able to just stay for 6 hours on the same salary, which was nice. And I think the reason why I also managed to, I don't know, create a relationship with my boss is because, I had a hard time there, but I tried my best to read her. She's like a fire lady, a dragon lady, spitting fire all the time. But I tried my best to I don't know, to try to understand her and get close to her. So I managed to create a relationship, even though it was pretty hard. But I guess it's worth it, because I guess we're all crazy in a certain way, and there's a reason why, or maybe that's the way we are, or personality. But we can pretty much, like, how to say, try to adapt a little bit, and then we can create a relationship with pretty much anyone if we really want to. I think it's all about trying to adapt. And then I was like, it's my master's. I want to go abroad. because I heard that we have this chance, studying abroad. And I'm like, okay, I should do this. I studied my whole life in my own city, so I lived with my parents until that point. And I'm like, I want to have that, real student experience outside of my country. Also, my English was like, let's say, not very bad at that point, but not great either. So I'm like, I have a chance to improve my English as well. So there were many benefits, and I'm like, okay, I will go. So I applied for, this exchange program, Erasmus. I guess in Europe, everyone is familiar with that. Erasmus. Maybe, is it like, probably it's for the entire world, like Erasmus Mundus or something like that. Not very sure, but anyway, it's an exchange program. So I ended up giving up on my job because I'm like, even though it's a good job and it was well paid, it's not for me. When I chose to leave, my parents were worried, because they're like, oh, you have a job, and how can you just give up on your job and just go and study abroad? Like, that's not a good move, And I'm like, but that's what I want, and I'm not happy with this job anyway, so why shouldn't I do it? I understand that, yeah, it's probably a good job, or at least it's seen as a good job, because this society, I guess, we see certain jobs as being good jobs, other jobs as being not so good jobs. But I think a good job for any one of us, it's a job that we actually enjoy and we feel good doing it, That's a good job.
Definitely.
Like if I like, I don't know, cleaning, and I'm a cleaner, but I'm happy doing that, that's a good job for me. I think that's the definition for me of a good job, Because I think I learned to value these things more over money after I worked for money, and I saw that selling my soul for money is not making me happy, and it just, on the contrary, it's just slowly killing myself. So I value the happiness of my, I don't know, spirit, value my spirit more over money. Money is important, don't get me wrong. So I don't want to sound like, oh my God, I'm such a dreamy person and I'm dumb. I don't understand how much money is needed in our society. I know we need money. I know. But we can make doing something that we're passionate about or something we like and we feel comfortable in doing, I think at some point can even bring us more money. Maybe, you're good at cleaning, okay, you're working for a company now, maybe later you're gonna open a cleaning company, because you're passionate about it, you feel more motivated. I don't know, you're just being stuck in a big company and just climbing like that, I don't know, it just doesn't sound good to me. I mean, if someone is okay with that, they should definitely do it. I think what's not suitable for me might be suitable for someone else, but everyone, I think, should just find whatever makes them happy. So going on exchange, I think that's the thing that this experience probably was the first, let's say, uh, the first experience that made a lot of changes in my life. It made me open up more because when I went there, I met so many people from all over the world. I also learned about the existence of so many things. I didn't even know what a double degree is. I didn't know anything, about how other countries do their things or how is education in another country or how people think in other countries. Okay, I met you and also other students through ISEC, so I got a small idea about different cultures. But going and living in Germany, because I went to Germany, and meeting so many other students, like it definitely opened, my mind a lot. And I managed to save some money from that scholarship, and I ended up traveling a little bit at the end of the scholarship. Like I went to Italy, and that was the reason I mentioned this is because when I went to Venice, I literally stopped and I stood there for 10 minutes looking probably confused, if someone else looked at me. But for me, it felt so unreal. I'm like, oh my God, what? I'm in Venice, that place that I saw in movies. And I'm like, it's such a pretty and romantic place and everyone wants to come here. And I'm here. right now, it was like I proved to myself that I can go places, you know? Even though Romania and Italy, they're not that far from each other, but I mean, I lived in such a small world, you know, my universe was so small. And I thought that my possibilities are so limited that even going to Italy and being there in Venice, you know, felt super unreal to me.